Hi everyone! I thought I'd start a new series where I show you how I use up my scraps. This is a page I did where I just pulled out a bunch of scraps from my scrap folder and decided to make this Sunray strip type of page layout. I got this idea from one of Paige Evans' videos, or pictures I think, and I really liked how it made the photo pop because of how colorful everything was. And I had this really cute picture of the Cinderella castle at Walt Disney World that I just wanted to scrapbook. So that was a page I had already completed, but I ended up having a lot of leftover pieces from my project. So I decided that I would make another page, but do a little bit different type of layout. So here I'm showing you that I just took these small strips of paper that I had left over from cutting apart 6x6 pattern sheet of paper, and I made them into these thick types of sun rays. They're a little slanted and they're angled. And instead of doing just one big circle, I thought I'd do 3 little ones. Besides having 3 circles, I want to still copy how I had the title surrounding the circle. So I will continue that theme when I create my title for this page. I have 3 photos I had taken from the San Francisco Conservatory of Flowers when I went to California for my friend's wedding. And my godsister and I went and toured some of the places in San Francisco just to check out the city a little bit more. I used this glass mason jar, it's a small one, to help me with making it in a circular shape. I selected colors from my stash folder that were just vibrant and pretty. I tried to pick colors that would go well together, so I stuck with mostly pinks and oranges and reds and yellows, and with just a little bit splash of some blues. I realized that I should have picked a smaller circle because when I started laying down my different strips of pattern paper, they were a little bit too long and they were getting a little pushed off the page had I lined up the edges with the circle I drew. So all I did was move in all the strips of paper about an inch or so from the circumference of the circle that I drew and made it just a little bit smaller in diameter. I used the circle that I drew just as a guide versus actually using it as a template. And since I was using scraps, I didn't really have enough of all the different patterns to make sure that each of the circles had the same patterns and the same amount of patterns. So I just did my best to spread them out a little bit more evenly. I made sure I didn't have more than 2 pieces of the same pattern in a circle, and to make sure that they weren't next to each other, obviously, when I laid them all out, because you definitely want to just create more interest and add more colors with all the different patterns you have created with these paper strips. You'll also notice that I only place glue on one end of the strip, and that is towards where I place it in the center of my circles, because I wanted my lengths of the sun rays to be different. I wanted to make sure that I can make that adjustment after I had glued and positioned all the pieces down. I do come in and take a pair of scissors to just trim off the different ones that I think are either too long or ones that I want to make shorter so that it all looks a little bit more even. Well, as even as random can be. To cover up my messy middles of all those little sun rays, I used the photos right in the center of it. I also end up picking some extra embellishments to help pair up with the photos. And I had these Heidi Swap butterflies that I haven't used in a while. They're like this plastic acetate kind of material. And I thought, if you think of flowers, you must think of butterflies too. So I thought I would add all these butterflies to the page just to liven it up and add some motion into the layout. And because they were plastic, I had to be careful on how I chose to adhere it to the page. Parts of them I could actually adhere them underneath a photo. So once I adhered half of the butterfly, I cover up where I adhered it with the photo. So you wouldn't see the glue if it was clear. I did use this just clear glue for most of the butterflies, but I do come in at the end with my stapler and just double staple all of them down so that they end up not moving. And it just allowed me to feel more comforted that they weren't going anywhere. And I'm okay with staples because it just adds an extra element of texture. I decided to add some glitter washi tape that I had, and I thought it would just help bring out more of those pinks and oranges I had selected from my scrap folder. I've been hoarding these washi tapes since I'd gotten them from Target, and it just felt really good to actually put them to good use. And it worked really well with the photos because the glitter kind of added that sparkle to the page, and it worked well with the colors that I was really playing with on the layout. Like I mentioned earlier, I really liked how the title was surrounding the photo, so I will be doing the title surrounding my photos in this layout as well. And the title I'm going with is Conservatory of Flowers, since that's what the location was called that I took these flower pictures at. I had these chipboard pink thickers, and as you can tell, they are falling apart. They're not really sticky anymore. And I did like the font and the color because it just worked well with my page, but I think I ended up tossing most of these. Or I might save them for another future page to show you how you can use up your alphas without having to spell anything. And because the letters were all over the place, it took me a while to find all the letters I needed for the title. So I'm going to fast forward this part for you and just show you my end result with the title. I did end up using 2 extra letters at the bottom right hand corner right now to say SF to represent San Francisco, and then I also found the numbers to help me date the page, which was July 7th. And here we go, we are done with the title. As you can tell, time has passed because the lighting has gotten darker since it's gotten later in the day. I added some bows as well to this layout. Can't have flowers without bows. And I had these old Dear Lizzie ones that I had left over from a previous project, so I thought I'd just tack on the 2 bows that I had left remaining. And I put them with the titles that were shorter because conservatory was a very long word. So that's pretty much my page. If you want me to create more videos regarding using your scraps, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below, and I hope you have a crafty day.